45, Friday, 26th of June 2020, Jerusalem 3. Sorry about the brief phone problem. Hopefully we're back on track now. You remember I've spoken out of turn, and I'm feeling that I've ruined everybody's holiday, and I'm feeling the whole weight of this thing on myself. And it's kind of a bit like as if I'd done something like this back in Royton, and I'm feeling how Janet would feel if I'd done something like this at home. So this is something that God is dealing with for our mutual benefit, of course, for us to be able to live together and get on with our life and ministry together. But I'm now carrying this weight around, and I'm glum. I'm not a happy bunny at all. Hardly taking much notice of whatever's going on in the next 2-3 days, whatever it was. In that period, the only thing of significance that I remember was that we visited a room, a largish room that was said to be where Jesus had his Last Supper, and had a little service in there. And during that time, some of the people said they heard angels sing, a choir of angels singing. Did I hear the angels? No, I didn't hear the angels. You know, my brain was somewhere else. And in that room, at least, I can't remember how long it lasted, but in that room there was a pain in my back, lower back, to one side. And the reason I remember it is because, like I say, it was a pain. But one of the ladies in the group had stood next to me, and she just reached over and put her hand on me, on my lower back there, exactly where the pain was. You know, so I haven't told her anything. I haven't told anybody anything. You know, but she put her hand there, and that was a little comforting in that midst of all that darkness there. And then as the time went on, we came to the last day. Got out to bed that day, and this would be the day that we would visit the Garden Tomb, which should have been a special place to visit. From my perspective, it wasn't a religious, building or anything like that. It's just a garden with an old grave over there, the tomb, the hole in the wall, and a cave, and a slab where they said Jesus would have been laid. And then the rest of it was a garden, and there was a seated area for us to have a service there. So I was looking forward to that. But I sat down, came down for breakfast, and there was a table with two ladies that I wasn't very familiar with at all. And so I sat down with them. Is it okay? And not long into the breakfast, the lady said to me, she said, "You know, the other day in the church when you asked if I'd touched you." So I said, yes. She said, well, I didn't. She said, but just before you said that, she said, I'd felt like a presence, a spiritual presence by my side. So that from the top of her head to the tips of her toes on this side of her, which was next to me, she'd felt this tingling all down her body. And immediately I thought, that's an angel. I'm into angels at the moment, of course. So that's an angel. And the angel was touching me with his back to her, and the feathers of his wings were touching on her, you see. So I take great encouragement from that, from the point of view that God was showing me that he'd been with me all through this dark period. So that he was there touching me on both sides, if you want, before this dark period started. And then here at the end, he was confirming that he'd been in all that, so that something's going on, kind of thing, And so we finished breakfast, but from that, I felt absolutely certain that when we got to the Garden Tomb area, I would see angels. I was absolutely certain I was going to see angels. And so we got there, and we had a look around and everything, and then we sat in our little group. And as our little service unfolds, there's a lot of big trees, and there's a cackling, a really loud cackling in the tops of the trees. But as I look up, I can't see any birds anywhere. There should have been 20, there should have been 20, rooks or ravens or whatever, making all that noise. And there's no leaves to stop me seeing, so I didn't know what that was all about. And then as we get into the end of the service, and I've not got my word. And sure enough, the minister says his final amen. And I'm just thinking, did I get it wrong? I'm just beginning to think, did I get it wrong? And then at that moment, there was 2 streaks of silver shot across the sky. From low down here, from almost ground level here, up to the tops of the trees over there. Can't talk me out of the fact that I believe those 2 streaks of angels, which I saw with my physical eyes. It wasn't that I was imagining them, I saw them with my physical eyes. These 2 streaks of silver. That had been my companion in this dark time. So that was a great way to finish that holiday. And I came home, and over a month or so later, I asked Janet how she was getting on with me, and she was finding me easier. And and I think 2 things happened. I think God worked in me a more careful way of speaking, and I would take counsel with Janet, and still do to this day. I hardly say anything that I feel is important without double checking that it's okay, and then I get her advice and adjust things if I need to adjust them. But I think also that God did something in her as well, to be able to the pressure of living with me. I took courage after I told you. I know I told you. I'll tell you again. I took courage after the first one of these. Who am I that I should do this? And when I watched the first one back, I looked at it. I thought, well, that's who I am. That's actually a good representation of who I am. So that's what I'm still trying to do. I'm still trying to put on here a good representation of who I am. No great mighty man, just this little fella stumbling along but with God's help. And it's he doesn't have good material to work with in our lives, but he comes and he works with us and does something good in us and blesses us. Life is full of delights, even at this ancient age of 73. Okay, a little bit more tomorrow. See you soon. If this phone holds out, it wasn't recording. It wasn't playing back properly. This is the second go I've had at this one. Okay, I'll shut up. See you tomorrow. Bye.